Hello and welcome back to another episode for Project Seed Money. My name is Sharissa Bradley and I am so excited to be bringing you this interview today with my friend Vivianna Severance. She is an author and a store owner in Terrell, Texas, and I cannot wait for you to meet her and hear her story. Welcome, Vivianna. Thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled to have you on the channel. I've known you for years personally, but you are recently in a new chapter of your life of publishing your first book collection. And I just wanted to bring you on this interview series to introduce you to the women who maybe are just sitting on the fence and just needing that extra push. So thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's my honor. I do want to start out just right away asking, has writing always been a passion of yours? Was it something that you found later, or did you start pretty young with writing your own things?
Yeah, so I started pretty young. Going through school and being forced to read and write things was super annoying. So I thought I hated it until I got a little bit older and I found a love for reading, and writing has kind of always been my thing. Not so much journaling, but actually writing little short stories and things like that. Yeah. I've always been a fan. And then I'm obsessed with typing, so much so that I stole the typing book from school when I was in high school because it's like a hobby of mine. So that's kind of win-win there.
That is such a win-win because then as you're coming up with your ideas, like you're also enthralled by the actual typing process itself.
Yes, yeah, I'm obsessed.
A lot of authors that have come on the interview series before have mentioned like pen and paper being one of the things that helps them bring out ideas. But for you, it sounds like maybe it's a keyboard.
Mhm.
That's so cool. So, what is it that drew you to the idea of publishing this collection that you've been working on now? And like, what brought that out in you? And how did you get there?
Well, I started creating an online program to do this, right? Because originally, when I first started reading tarot in my 20s, I felt the need to memorize every single definition of every single card. I would put out a spread and go right to the book without even really looking at the cards. And I never felt authentic. It never felt legitimate. It was just me memorizing all these things. It turns out my great aunt was also a reader too, didn't even know that that was a thing. And then one of my friends held a tarot circle. And when I went there, she gave me the permission to just look at the cards and intuitively see what was coming up in them. It was like this platform to be able to read intuitively and mix that up with the definitions. And I just found it to be this language that you have to work with these cards in order to learn them and understand them. So creating that online program, I wasn't too happy with it. I had a lot of writing on there. I was recording the videos. I'm like, this doesn't feel connected enough. So then I downloaded all of that to reformat it into teaching in person here at my shop. And then that became too wordy. I'm like, this is too many words to try and teach people in person. It makes no sense. And then instantly this idea came to me. Well, what if you make it a workbook? And I know you. And so I was thinking, yeah, that's when I reached out and I was like, what do you even think? Like, is this something like it's not a book, it's a workbook. It's kind of a blend of the two. And so that's kind of how it all came about, almost on accident. It just led there. Yeah.
That is so incredible and such a traditional teacher's path. Let me learn all the hard way so that I can
Yes.
condense it down and make it easier and faster for you to understand it. And that's exactly what you did in your workbook and in your journal, which you're right, it isn't a traditional book, but there's so much value and so much information in the pages that it does kind of give that book feel because you're getting so much information. So what about the actual writing process for it? Was it already written because of the notes that you had already made for the course? Was there anything you had to add to it? What was that process like?
Yeah, so I'd say about 50 to 70% of it was already kind of written, right? So I reformatted it a little bit. And then the scariest part was I don't have enough. There's not enough. There's not enough in here to make a whole book. It's just this much. And then when I actually got in there, I was like, oh wait, this is almost too many pages. I had to resize the book. I was going to go with a smaller one. And I was like, I had to make it larger for it to be easy for us to open and actually work in it. So that was a little issue I had to kind of work through.
But it's
Learn.
such a cool size. It ended up so good. Like
Yeah.
everybody who's held it just feels like this is a cool size book. So
Mhm.
even things do change, right? Like even our perception of what it should have been a course, right? In your
Yeah.
initial mind's eye. But then as you evolved, it evolved into this thing that's now becoming, now it's worldwide distribution. Now, June 1st, this collection of books comes out and it's no longer, it really is no longer just like sitting. You know what I mean? It's not just like this idea, this concept. It's now this reality.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about that too because I've been doing it on such a small scale, right? I've been doing in-person tarot circles, teaching people how to read intuitively as a priority, and then layering in the other information. And it works so well for people. They just catch on really quick. I see the light bulbs kind of go off, and that's my passion, right? Seeing these people light up and go, "Oh, I get it now." And it's been so small scale, so be able to package it in a book structured the way I actually teach it it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited to kind of reach a wider audience and give people that permission to just start reading. You don't have to learn all the definitions. Yeah,
Yes.
not right
And
away.
and like tapping into your intuition,
Yeah.
which I think for most of us, just all of us probably, we are like lost from the intuitive connection to ourselves. And so even just the aspect in this workbook and in the journal of like reconnecting to our intuition, I think
Yeah.
is invaluable. Yes, the cards are being utilized as the tool, but the
Mhm.
real tool is that you're learning how to access your intuition. You're not giving your power to someone else's definition of what you're seeing.
Right, right. Because at the end of the day, I mean, the cards really, they're just cardstock. It's just paper. It's not anything special. It's a tool, much like a hammer is a tool for a construction worker. They use that to create, right? With the
Yes.
cards, it's a way to access our intuition and our own inner knowing, something that we're not raised with, right? Where we have it as kids, we're born with these gifts. And as we get older, it's kind of like pushed down and, oh, that's not really a thing. We question our intuition all the damn time.
I
Um,
know what's best.
yeah,
Telling you,
right.
I know what's better for you than you do.
Yeah, but the cards are a way to tune into your intuition to the point where eventually you're not even going to really need the cards anymore. They're just like an accessory. They can kind of help when you need it. But there's times when people show up for readings and I'm pulling cards because they're there for a reading, but I'm just like, I already kind of know what's going to come through and what's happening. And so it's a way for all of us to start to develop and understand how that works. The tarot is just a tool. It's my favorite tool, but it's a tool nonetheless.
I'm totally nerding out over it. I'm enjoying working it myself. You know that. I've said that. But what about the aspects of becoming an author, right? A published author. June 1st, you'll be considered a published author, two books
Yeah.
out in the world, worldwide distribution. What has that meant to you and what have you faced in that? Have you had to grow to become this person that is now this published author? What have you experienced in that way?
It's been wild. It's very, very vulnerable. It was very exciting writing the book and putting it together. I'm like, oh, this looks so cool. And then having the books in person, like touching it and feeling it, I still feel like I'm editing this for somebody else. Like I didn't actually do this. This is just someone else. I feel like it's an alter ego almost that's done this. And here I am just kind of fixing it up for them. But it's such a vulnerable process. Those are my words, and they're going to be out in front of the world now. And it's vulnerable, it's intimidating, but at the same time, it kind of brings this legitimacy to what I've been doing, this work that I've been doing for most of my life, just in a different way now.
That's so beautiful and so powerful. You're giving yourself that power. You're like totally taking it for yourself and having that whole like you legitimized your own experience, right? That's so incredible. And it maybe is just your future self that is that alter ego.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Yeah.
The 1 month from you now.
Yeah. The 1 month from me now that's going to go, oh my gosh, the books are they're out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to my past me for editing.
Yeah.
And how has it been giving these copies to friends and family to also like edit, beta read, just kind of give their feedback? Because even though it isn't in the public's eye yet, it has been touched by strangers. People definitely have looked through and flipped through these pages. What's that experience been like for you?
The people who've actually gone through them the feedback has been great. It's very helpful. It's great to do this in person. Some of the people that have been to my tarot circles are the ones that have been looking at the book and they're like, oh, I recognize this. It makes them feel kind of special. And when I actually got the delivery of the workbook, I was in the middle of teaching a class, Intro to Crystals. And so all these people saw me rip open the pack and be like, oh my gosh, right? We passed it around the circle and they celebrated with me. They cried, they laughed, they clapped. It was a wonderful experience, but just they were also like touching it and their feedback was like, it feels so good. Like it feels like there's just something about like the soft cover and like the floppiness of it that they really
And the
loved.
colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It just pulls you in and it
Yeah.
is so soft. I completely agree.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
a cool experience to be surrounded by people you are teaching when you get this like teaching manual delivered to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, let me just do this last question.
Mm.
What advice would you give to the people who are watching this video? I'm assuming they're like just kind of on that cusp. The ideas have been coming to them. Maybe it's even been a few years of like this tapping of knowing like I need to take this action. What would you say to those people? They're caught.
Right. I've been there. I've been there. This is probably my fourth attempt now at writing a book, right? So it's something that I've been trying and failing at for a long time. I just needed to find the right topic, right? So find what you're passionate about. Are you passionate about teaching? That's where it is for me. I want to teach people. And that's why this book, I think, finally came to fruition. Or are you more of a storyteller? Or do you want to tell your own story? So I think finding your passion is going to be the priority and then quit doubting yourself. Just type it all out. Like nobody's looking. Nobody's watching you. Just type it all out, get it all on, or write it out, or unless you're like me, who's obsessed with the keyboard. Just keep writing it. And I also strongly recommend not letting it sit for too long. Because if you take more than 2 or 3 days away from the work that you've already put on there, you're going to have to start at the beginning, read it again to kind of get the flow of where you were at. And I've done that where I'll write for like a week straight and then I won't touch it for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't even know what I wrote. Like I have to go through it and then kind of put myself, it's just a waste of time. So if you're going to do this, I would commit to some kind of a schedule where you don't take more than a couple days away from it, even if you're only writing like a paragraph or throwing in some notes. I like to also focus on the overall goal for the day. Like what is it that I want to talk about? And I'll just write a little blip about it and kind of start to fill in the gaps where it's needed. Yeah, those are the things I think that have helped. And also designing it in whatever platform you like to use as a book. So, yeah, that makes a big difference because all my other things that I've started and not completed are all in like a Word document. And you're just writing this long thing and you're like, how many pages is this going to be in a real book? Is this going to be enough?
Like? Yeah.
So I think probably choosing the book size and getting the actual page sizes on there is helpful because then you get to see, oh, look, I've done all this typing, but that was like 15 pages. Where in Word, it would have been maybe what, 2 or 3 pages. Kind of gives you a guideline. It helps you get more motivated, I'd say, to be, oh, look, I'm halfway there, Yeah.
Love that because you get that end result feeling of feeling good. Whereas most people that I talk to, it's the Word document. It really is just that long Word document all the way until they get it in their hands, the physical copy.
Mhm.
And that I can see how that would actually add in to the challenge of getting it done. Like, why bother?
Right. Yeah. And another tip, don't put page numbers in your book until you're all the way done. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Everything changes. Don't. Yeah.
Every time I put like a page number just as a placeholder and keep, duplicating that as I go. But I thought I was done. And so I put all the page numbers and then I went through it again. I was like, well, let me move. Oh, just save yourself the trouble. Don't put them until you're 100%. Like you're ready to do the table of contents. That's when you can put the page numbers in.
I love that little bonus. Little extra Easter egg here.
Yes.
Just be patient with yourself because the
Uh-huh.
order will change. The timing will change. Everything evolves. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for all of this incredible wisdom. I have truly appreciated your time today. And I just want to finally ask, where can everybody find you? You do own a storefront. You do have an online store as well as Instagram, and this book is coming out as well.
I'd say the easiest would be the website, which is wildravensnest.com. I'm also on Facebook as the same, Wild Ravens Nest. And Instagram is underscore wild raven underscore, like the little wings of a raven. Those are the places you can find me. I'm in Terrell, Texas. I have a storefront where you can shop in person and you can shop online, and we have all kinds of classes and workshops here too.
That's incredible. And then as of June 1st, this book will be available everywhere books are sold, and you can find that in the description as well. Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for your time. And I just really hope that everybody who watches this gets to see more about you, read this tarot workbook, because I just feel like there's so much value in there in learning how to tap back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being with us on another episode for Project Seed Money. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye.